Let's talk about Uranus and Gemini, somatic astrology. Gemini rules the shins, the ankles, and the spine. Gemini rules the hands, the lungs, and then Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, and that's the nervous system, which is where I'm going to start and probably where I'm going to end. The nervous system is really important, and it's been an important topic, but not for no good reason. Hope that makes sense. It's really important, especially for those of us who identify as highly sensitive and an empath. If you don't know it yet, I highly recommend just double checking in on all those experts um, who've got the lists and the quizzes and the facts about that stuff. And anyone really to begin to listen to their body. So that's communication. Uranus is going to revolutionize the way we communicate from the inner world to the outer world. And what I mean by that, and I'll circle back around to what I was saying before, is that I have been thinking about like holographic or hologram technology for a few years now, and psychic skills, psychic upgrades for us, and all of that will perhaps, possibly become normal. And therefore, our regulation, our nervous systems are learning to feel safe. The way I'll relate it to Uranus is that it really is coming through to connect us to communication in a way that it's going to bring more intimacy into our lives. Intimacy first starts with the self, like I had said before, and then will translate into your outer life. Now look up the Gemini areas of your chart, and I would ask yourself here, and you can even ask yourself with the Taurus placements as well, because it just moved from Taurus, where what has come to the surface has come up to your own truth and learning about your own beliefs and your own connection to the divine, and now how we need to ground that. So the shins, the ankles, and the spine, it's the connection, right? Think of the top of the spine, go down to the bottom of the spine, and then the ankles and the shins. It's this connection to our alignment that holds us up, foundation, and that goes along with beliefs. What do you believe in? What do you stand for? What is your connection? What is your spiritual connection to this earth? Maybe a grounding practice, maybe where you start, even walking barefoot in the grass, I know is a really popular one. How this connects to how you give, if you overgive, what you can handle. For some people, you may take things off your plate. For other people, your life might get a little bit more busy. Those are the hands. Now, the lungs are all these shifts that are happening. This one in particular is grieving who you are no longer. Through these shifts, when you heal your nervous system and you actually work with that, you are becoming a different version of yourself. You are telling the trauma, the fear, the doubts, the pain, the worry, the stress, the despair, resentment, that it's safe to feel, to listen to your body, and to even find more quiet and less stimulation throughout your day, which is something else that has been leading up to. There's been this back and forth for those of you who are sensitive to energies, who recognize this. You've noticed perhaps since Jupiter moved from Gemini, so much information, so much stimulation, to Cancer last month, that there has been a slowdown, or at least like a pull for it in some way in your life. It doesn't have to be every way, but it could be some way. And if you lean into that, there is a grounding, like it's fluid, but it's like a grounding that Cancer season brings, because I definitely feel the sensitivity in those parts of my body, the front part of my body, and listening to the guidance from within, your intuition, and how that connects to your outer world. And with when you communicate, for some people, you may find yourself that alignment means seeing certain people in your life more and certain people less. Notice how I said that. It's not because you don't like them, it's not because of this nor that. It's just that wherever your frequency is going, that's going to bring a certain energy and connect you to certain people and have you communicate with certain people. This is always happening, but this will become extremely apparent, so please check those Gemini areas of your chart. Now, regulating your nervous system can also help any grief, any form of needing to let go of what is no longer. Even if you're excited for change, all the way to the person who isn't, it'll only help the process. You know, it's like taking a vitamin now. This transit is going to have us experience different ways of life, being open to different ways, being open to things starting and ending a lot quicker as well, experimenting, of course. And for those of you, I did not mention writing. For people who write, now is your time. Some say it is thinking. So for some people, you might just want to put thought to paper to learn about your nervous system and where your subconscious is at, if that could be your practice. But for other people, writing will become such a beautiful tool and form of communication. And I pray that it allows people to communicate with themselves with more space and grace so that they can communicate to the world in that way as well with intentionality, because your thoughts are going to become, and already are, very valuable and precious. That is our wrap up for now. So you can apply that all to the Gemini area of your chart. If you are curious about your rising signs, I can do some videos about the rising signs. But for now, we will leave it here and then we'll talk more about this as the transit continues.